Hello. Today, we'll be showing you how to replace the keyboard assembly in a Samsung XE503C Chromebook. Before you begin your replacement, you will need a few tools. An anti-static mat is recommended to prevent electrostatic discharge, which can damage electronic parts. A small, magnetic-tip Phillips head screwdriver will be necessary for this replacement. A spudger will also come in handy during this replacement. You can use either plastic or metal, whichever you prefer. If you have tweezers, you may also want to have them handy, as they might be useful when dealing with small parts. The first step in the motherboard replacement process will be to remove the 9 screws in the bottom cover of the laptop. Once all 9 screws are removed, the next step will be to use your spudger to go around the perimeter of the bottom cover, carefully prying it until it comes off. Next, you will disconnect the battery cable from the motherboard. Now, you will remove the 4 battery screws. You can now remove the battery. Next, you will disconnect the trackpad cable from the motherboard. Now, you will disconnect the keyboard cable from the motherboard. Next, you will disconnect the speaker cable from the motherboard. Now, you will disconnect the LCD cable from the motherboard. Next, you will disconnect the 2 Wi-Fi antenna cables from the motherboard. Now, you will disconnect the cable that runs from the Daughterboard to the motherboard. Now, you will remove the 3 port cover screws and then remove the port cover. Next, you will remove the 4 motherboard screws. Now, you can remove the motherboard. Next, you will remove the 3 screws from the Daughterboard port cover and then remove the Daughterboard port cover. Now, you will disconnect the Daughterboard speaker cable. Next, you will remove the Daughterboard screw. Now, you can remove the Daughterboard. You can peel the Daughterboard to motherboard cable up from the keyboard assembly and leave it attached to the Daughterboard. Next, you will remove the 2 hinge screws from each of the 2 hinges. Now, you can push the hinges up and remove the keyboard assembly. The first step in the installation of your replacement keyboard assembly will be to set it into place and press down the hinges. Now, you will replace the 2 hinge screws in each of the 2 hinges. Next, you will put the Daughterboard into place and replace the Daughterboard screw. Now, you will replace the Daughterboard port cover and replace the 3 Daughterboard port cover screws. Next, you will reconnect the Daughterboard speaker cable. Now, you will put the motherboard into place on the keyboard assembly. Next, you will replace the port cover and the 3 port cover screws. Now, you can replace the 4 motherboard screws. Next, you can reconnect the trackpad cable to the motherboard. The next step will be to reconnect the keyboard cable to the motherboard. Now, you will reconnect the speaker cable to the motherboard. The next step will be to reconnect the LCD cable into the motherboard. The next step will be to reconnect the two Wi-Fi antenna cables to the motherboard. Now, you want to reconnect the cable that runs from the daughterboard to the motherboard. Now, you will set the battery back into place and replace the 4 battery screws. Now, you can reconnect the battery cable into the motherboard. The next step will be to snap the bottom cover back on. The final step will be to replace the 9 bottom cover screws. You have now successfully replaced your keyboard assembly. Nice job.